What's up, Bitcoin? Okay, anyway. So how is everybody? And this video is a nuanced look at pirate software. Well, first let's get to a good fishing spot, right? This should have been a fishing spot, to be very honest. But, okay. Ah, alright. So, pirate software. Where to begin? Well, let's begin at how he became famous, right? So the way he became famous was, I think he had this shorts game he was going on, where he was like using his like past experience at Blizzard to what do you say, reveal the secrets of the gaming industry. So there, and to be very honest, back then itself, I wasn't that fond of him because like he was dunking on StarCraft basically. Like I don't believe what he said about StarCraft and such like was true. That just like he was like doing it for kind of like shock value, you could say. Where what do you say? Something like one horse or something sold more than the entirety of Wings of Liberty. And you can. I'm not saying it's not maybe true a little bit, but it's like I think it's like playing with the statistics and underselling it, honestly. But Wings of Liberty was really popular, so I don't. I'm not really. I didn't really buy it, but yeah, you know how it is. People want to make a fun, interesting shot. You got to sacrifice something. Perhaps that's accuracy. In any case, I wasn't ultra fond of Pirate Software, but he had just popped up. Nobody really knew anything about him, and yeah, that was how it was. He was like a game development streamer. He's an ex whatever DefCon hacker. Um, yeah, and he's got two or three black badges or whatever that is. So that seems like pretty legit, right? I don't think they just hand it out to anybody. I'm sure it's like a competition like any other, but they don't just hand it out to anyone. So and he was like some nuclear engineer, something like that. Okay, so yeah, this all seemed very good. Although I didn't like him personally because of his flippant take against StarCraft, which I was not that fond of. And well, this is just called this is what is called petty stuff, right? So at some point, the Stop Killing Games initiative showed up, and maybe that's about a year ago now. I don't know. And the first thing which Pirate Software did was like just straight up dunk on it, and you know I was like, at that time itself, I was like actually very upset because first of all, you call yourself Pirate Software, and then you're like this hacker guy. You done DEF CON stuff or whatever. You know, there are some standards expected, okay? And simping for the corporates or whatever is really not what you would expect from this. Now, I understand that. I mean, also the way he carried himself off was obviously very bad. But the point first was like, how can you first of all be this like against? Like you're a game developer. You played all the games. How could you be so against what the consumers actually want, what the gamers actually want? Everyone knows how it feels to have your games ripped away from you. Okay, and yes, everything dies in the end. I'm not saying no, but you know, it shouldn't be in the hands of the people who don't even care about it, right? It should be in the hands of the people who play the game daily, and all those kind of things. For example, StarCraft now. If StarCraft, I don't play StarCraft anymore anyway, but at that time I was playing StarCraft. Possibly, maybe I quit, just about quit at that time. StarCraft requires an always on login or some shit. It always connects to Blizzard Auth before it opens up the servers. If Blizzard decides to shut down one day, on just if they just decide to be dicks like Ubisoft, then where are we? Where are we? Nowhere. We don't have stock. We can't even play the campaign. I never played the campaign to be very honest. I didn't like the campaign. But yeah, All right. So obviously, stop killing games is very this thing, and unlike Ross, who was like, I think he wasn't as outspoken as he might have liked to be. Uh, he's like kind of, you know, it's a political thing, right? So you have to be somewhat circumspect about these things. But personally, for me, it was the stop killing game thing is very simple. Uh, First, if there is a server requirement, then that API or whatever should be provided, and people will. The company cannot sue. Everybody creates all these games already have these, private servers and modding gangs and stuff like that. So the company should just not be allowed to sue them once they've shut down servers altogether for copyright infringement or whatever. And yeah, I'm sure game companies like Nintendo and Ubisoft now will kick and scream. But I think that's what's important. I think that is the thing. Now, of course, um, uh, this what's his name, Stop Killing Games guy, isn't limited to just that. Obviously, he's not just seeing only these kind of things, right? Because these are popular and famous games. He wants even the little and unpopular and you know not having enough of a big player base such that somebody comes and makes a private server for it. Even those kind of people deserve to have their games preserved, and it's good that the company should do it. And obviously, Stop Killing Games is just probably the best. Uh, I don't often see legislation which is good coming from a lot of places, and this is obviously what the people want. Like this is what a democracy is supposed to be, right? And it's really good. I mean, like that's what we want basically. And then to see the pirate software, I mean, I will come to all that later. But he has a DEFCON badge. He's a software developer. He's a hacker, penetration tester. How can you be like that? Like very disappointing. And so I was one of the probably one of the early you could say haters of pirate software because I just didn't this thing. But the wider internet didn't seem to care. They only started caring when he did some kind of what is some goofy wow stuff. Okay. Uh, Now I have nothing against the drama. Okay, it entertained me for 3 4 days. It was nice, fun to see him double down and stuff. But it feels like people took that wow drama more seriously than Stop Killing Games at all. And then now what happened is now recently after Ross decided to go gloves off and what's his name Penguin Zero is his YouTube channel. I think he's also called Moist Critical or something like that. After he decided to throw in his, what do you say, towel over, not the towel, but like, I don't know, let's say, hey, his hat. He decided to throw his hat in the ring. So at that time, now again, pirate software started attracting a lot of, criticism and stuff. And justifiably so for the stop killing games thing, no doubt. I'm, I was there before a lot of people on this you could say hate train, air quotes. You can't see me, but so air quotes hate train. Uh, but I would say that now I think is going a bit far. Like I don't I'm okay with the way I'm okay with criticizing Pirate Software for being like a smug asshole. Okay, who's like fucking gamers and just being a dick overall to Ross and like all his intellectual dishonesty, all his nonsense explanations and all that is well and good. But I think there's a point where people go too far in their criticism, and in case any Blinding Side Society members are watching this in the future, this is the these are my values on these matters. So first thing is there's no need to get unnecessarily personal. Okay, so one thing is which we noticed is with that coding Jesus guy. Now I'm not saying pirate software code is the best or something, but I also think people who are talking about code quality and stuff half the time are talking out of their ass. Okay, I'm not saying I'm some 10 years experience in coding and stuff, but I have been professionally working for four years now. Okay, we'll not go into that. It's not exactly 4 years, but whatever. I'm a developer. Okay, at least as much as all these new grad chaps who are commenting on Reddit and whatnot. Okay, and like I don't think it's a nice thing to go and like it's a working game. The game works, right? And then you go and then you unwarrantedly go and start, nitpicking on dumb shit like, oh, he used magic number. I looked at some of them. They weren't even that magic, by the way. Like, and if you're a game developer, which I purport to be, not that good or anything, but one would like to be that, I guess. But it's just a lot of the functions are like, you have to know the functions. That's what game development's all about. Because you know, uh, one second. So game development is like, look, you need to know the engine specific things. You need to know the functions, and they're different from engine to engine. And once you know them, there are default values. So you're not going to waste too much time with, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's absurd to go on nitpicking on small things, even though and the reason and most of the people who are like following this code stuff and all, they don't even know how to code. So they just say take whoever is in a position of authority and then just bandwagon behind them, and say that I'm not even saying that pirate software handled the coding whatever well or anything like that. Okay, he was like whatever. He was like unnecessarily defensive as usual, but I can understand it. Anybody would be if you just go through the code like this thing like an asshole and go on nitpicking stuff. The code works. I've seen his game. People criticize his game. This thing like I saw a little bit of a stream when it released. Uh, like recently, it had a second release. I mean, I would say the dialogue is a bit quirky and stuff like that, but the game was fine. The concept was good. Everything is fine. I mean, I can understand the need to. I can understand one's dislike of pirate software, but I think invalidating everything just because of one dislike is not good. And similarly about this lady who came to expose pirate software or something. See, lady, hear me out. Okay, I don't think you'll ever hear me out, but hear me out. I understand that you had a bad experience with pirate software. It was pretty shit. No one. If what you say is true, nobody's saying no. It's like it seems pretty miserable. That whatever issues you had while cleaning up your house or some. Okay, I'm not. I don't want to go into the vulgar details to say, so to speak. But it looks like he was pretty messy and horrible. Okay, but why do you have to tell it to the full internet? I don't understand. I mean, it's not like it's not anything. Yeah, sure. It's like it only serves to like. I can safely say that there's probably at least one person on this world who probably thinks that I have some habit or something which is annoying or this thing. And if they go online and then they just like for example, my room's a bit of a mess. Most of the time, I live in a fairly messy room. Uh, Even though I'm a person who likes to keep things clean, I there's like a perpetual like a small clutter around me because I don't really care about cleaning it. I only when I want to clean it, I start cleaning. Okay, so oh yeah, he lives in a mess. Okay, he sheds hair. Yeah, sure. There's one. I shed hair quite a lot. So yeah, no doubt you can. I mean, I've said it myself, but okay, when I say it, you guys don't even know. But like, it's not even like such a. I clean it up or whatever. But I mean, you get my point. It's just embarrassing to be told in a hatred kind of way. Like, it's not like okay, at least if you told it in a loving manner that oh he sheds hair, he's so, but he's a bit like a dog or something like that, and in a fun manner. No, nobody will feel that bad. But oh oh like a dog he just spoils the entire this thing or whatever, then people will feel bad and you're telling it to the whole internet and the whole internet's looking for ammunition to hate on you. Yeah, I don't think that's good. I don't think that is. That is a good thing. I don't think that was a net good thing to do. Although I do sympathize with the issues which you had, I feel like you could have perhaps chosen maybe a better time, or I don't know. It just seems unnecessary. And next thing is that whether what he was working in Blizzard or something. Now I have no doubt he is a bit of a nepo baby and stuff. But like one thing I can say is like, look, I worked in a company just now. I'm recently unemployed. I worked uh, till late night, till 11 o'clock in the night and stuff regularly. Okay, so to 60, 50, 60 hours per week and stuff. And yet they let me go because they didn't feel, I guess, that my performance was sufficient or something like that. Okay, even though I was working those many hours, etc. Uh, One fine now, I am now I carry on my life, carry on in the life in 10, 15 years. Suddenly I pop up, and for whatever reason my boss, who let me go off for air quotes performance reasons, suddenly pops up and he's like, oh, that guy is such a bad developer, lazy ass, uh, didn't work at all. He was like dumber than the rest of them or something. Like, okay, I'm not saying you can't have your opinion, but like, why would you do that? Like, nobody has hurt you in that way for you to do that. And even if it's not true, one finds it very hard to refute it as well, because it is your boss or whatever, so they get the thing or whatever. So that's just one of my fears in life, that um, when one day somebody will one day everybody in the world will point at me and say, you did nothing, you did no work, you're just this thing. I know that's my own internal failing, that I feel I let other people's words like this affect me. But I don't know if that's some, I don't know if it's a, like, okay, that's my fault that I value my reputation a bit too much, I guess. But why should why should I pay the? I mean, why should people take advantage of that, right? Why should people do that? Uh, so what if he was playing Reddit a bit and stuff like that? Okay, fine. You should have either pipped him or fired him or something. He didn't get fired. Okay, I agree. He's a nepo baby. Okay, that's reasonable. But I don't know. You could have just said he is just a nepo baby. Could have just said, yes, he's a nepo baby, and I didn't have, you know, he was an okay worker or something like that. And there seems to be no reason for you for to run him down like that, and nobody's gonna believe him either, because, like, of course they're hating on him anyhow. I don't know if he was such a bad worker. I can't take your word directly. It's quite possible that he was maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't want to be unfair in my judgment. You see, um, where people won't say it about themselves, obviously, but at least what do you? I mean, it doesn't feel classy. Be like there's a level level to which you can stoop to, and I don't think this is that level. Like, oh, there's a bad worker. Like so long as they're not so long as they're not like a manipulative asshole about it, I don't know if it's such a bad thing to not care that much about your job, even if it is at Blizzard or whatever, which you did get in by Nepoing, but whatever, man. Like, yeah, why can't we just dislike a person for the things which they do which are bad, instead of some random shit which didn't affect anybody? Okay, okay, fine. Blizzard is paying him a stipend effectively, like, just for his continued existence. Maybe you could assume. I mean, based on whatever she's saying, he was just reading Reddit and doing nothing, and that's it. Blizzard was just paying him a salary. Okay, fine. Who is it harming? Nobody. Okay. I mean, it harmed Blizzard shareholders or whatever, whatever. I'm sure you felt bad. I'm sure it piled up a bit on you and stuff like that. But these are things which happened 20 years in the past or something like that. Why bother about it today? Huh? Like, or 10 years in the past or something. It just, it's the same thing in politics and everywhere. It's just like unnecessarily, it's tasteless. Like, and it's just, the net result is what? No one comes looking good out of, I mean, one person comes looking good out of it, but it's not like you got, like, yes, Shakespeare, right? Who steals my purse steals trash. 'twas mine, 'twas his, or something like that. Who steals my good name, robs me of something valuable without enriching themselves, basically. Okay, so why steal my good name, right? That's the point. I'm not saying you're stealing my good name. Try stealing Pirate Software's good name, because whatever personal details that you shared, but perhaps not necessary to be broadcasted to the internet. So, in general, I would request my zero viewers to stay on the high road. You could say there's no need to go after Pirate Software's. I think he's he has some non-conventional uh, sexual orientation or something like that. I mean, whatever. What's the point of targeting that, right? What is the point of it? And I mean, why do it? Everybody has some sexual orientation or something like that. Okay, we may not agree with whatever it is. So long as nobody's harming anybody, there's no harm in it. Okay, like you may not agree with it. Like, they exist. You may not agree to do it in your personal life, whatever cosplay or whatever those things are. And it's just unnecessary. It's just finding ways like reasons to, oh, this is a bad person, and these are all the reasons I need to justify it. Why? You only need one reason. He sold out people for stop killing games. That's bad enough. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to say I don't like pirate software. Why do you need to care? Why do you care that he sucks at WoW, or he uh, whatever. He didn't work well at Blizzard, and he is a very bad roommate to have, and he's a furry or something like that. Like, these are unnecessary things. Now this lecture is going on for too long. I don't know if you reached to this point. Whatever, I don't care. Uh, be classy, right? That's the thing. Let's have some class. There's two. The whole world is going towards a thing of hyper focusing on these kind of tawdry details only. Let's just do better, like, and code quality. I mean, come on. Nobody gives a shit what you name your variables or. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have some variable names, and I'm not saying you can't define constants. You can not saying all these things, but like, why you want to go after someone's code and just trouble them? Like, if they want to do it with a loop, without a loop, I don't even know. I didn't even see that loop example, but I don't even think like I'm not sure how dynamic the language is, right? Like, suppose you have eight different alarms or whatever. I'm assuming he wasn't accessing them in an actual loop. Like, he wasn't accessing alarm IDs. He was probably accessing an alarm name. Now, if the thing is not dynamic enough to get this alarm zero, like concatenate a variable onto a thing and then call it, well, who cares, right? He just got it done with and he moved on. He made a game. The game is nice enough. And it's pointless to see all these things. He didn't ask anybody to join his company. He didn't ask anybody to see his code or work with his code. And it was done in a mean spirited way. You just need, if you don't like him being a smug asshole and you don't like him being, yeah, I know why people are doing that, because they feel that he's a smug asshole, so they want to, like, take down his authority status. Like, any authority which he has, they want to take it down. And people can still be talented and skilled and still be bad or wrong. John Carmack may not do things which you don't like. John Carmack, by the way, is a really great programmer. Okay, so he may do something which you don't like. That doesn't mean that you have to now run down Doom and Quake and whatnot, and his Meta Quest, Oculus Quest, or whatever. Okay, you don't have to run all those achievements down. You can still think somebody is not doing a good thing. Like, if John Carmack was against stop killing games, then although I don't think he would be, I think he was the first person. His company was one of the first companies to, like, release Doom to everybody and open source or something like that, which is why everybody runs Doom everywhere. But if he did was against stop killing game, I could still say John Carmack is wrong and I don't like what he's doing, even though he's such an influential and such a good talented programmer and everything. The same thing applies for Pirate Software. He may not be, uh, you know I'm sure he's not a bad programmer. Okay, I mean, whatever, like, when somebody says that, when somebody is a good programmer or not, it's not defined by uh, the quality of the code they write. The quality of the code they write is whatever. It's about the result they derive out of it. So, you can't. You like look at this game which I'm playing, Guild Wars 2. Okay, so beautiful. I'm having such a good time. Is there probably a bunch of bad spaghetti code somewhere? Possibly, but I don't mind about that because here I am interacting with with the beauty of it or whatever. So I don't need to care about the. Yes, I know you could probably not create such a good and awesome game without having some amount of without the code being a certain quality. No doubt about all these things. Okay, even so, you you don't need. It's like you're not his boss, right? You don't need to bother about the code quality. There's some light-hearted jokes on some programming subreddit is fine. This vicious attack. I mean, I won't call it vicious. I think that's too much. And this is unnecessary hate, basically. Okay, anyway, I'm done with this video. Bye.